what I'm saying. It's terrible. So bad. I don't know who that is.
He's always always talk because town meeting is something where it meets like 3 times a year.
Recording in progress.
But it's the good. It is the governing body. It's elected. And it's not too late to still be elected to it.
On or off?
And it would be good to have a voice in
All right, I'm going to call
Other
the meeting
members,
to
yeah.
order. My apologies for the delay. It is 7:03, and it is Wednesday, March 23rd. This is the Swampscott Public Schools School Committee meeting. And for all of those who can, please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance. And we have, I'm so excited, we have For the Love of Learning back on our calendar, which means for people who are watching us from at home, this is our bi-weekly opportunity to hear about what's happening in the schools from the kids and their teachers or advisors. And tonight we have let me just open this up. Are you able to open this, or should I?
I can't get on it. I think I'm not allowed to. I don't have Google Chrome. Oh, no, John. Are you on it, John?
Okay, so we have Tammy Bailey here with the Black History Month Project. And
Good evening, everyone. My name is Tammy Bailey. I am the MECO Academic Support as well as the ROC facilitator at the high school. The ROC is a male affinity group that was started in my first year here at Swampscott. Along with, over the month of February, me along with Sabrina and a couple of good fellows from the senior center and some kids worked on a project. And before today, we are going to show you guys a quick clip, the intro to the project. And we're going to be presenting the project to the whole school on the 28th during an assembly.
So before you jump in, let me see if we can get this on screen. So
Before we get that going, I'm just going to go down the line and have everyone introduce themselves, what grade they're in as students, and then what part they took in this whole project.
Hi, I'm Tyler Sanders. I'm a freshman, and I interviewed Edie Baker during this project.
Hi, I'm Sam Obala. I'm a freshman. I'm 15 years old, and I interviewed Victoria Wilder.
Oh, yeah.
Hi, I'm Sabrina Clopton. I'm the social worker at the Swampscott Senior Center.
You guys know me, but I'll introduce myself again. Hi guys, I'm Al. I'm a senior, and I was in the male affinity group for this project. I interviewed the infamous Ralph Edwards.
Good evening, I'm Victoria Wilder.
Good evening. I'm Ralph Edwards. I'm a senior.
I'm Ivy O'Brien. I was the senior producer.
Hi, I'm Zachary Stern. I was the lead editor.
Hello, I'm Jennifer Inglis, the interim library director at the Swampscott Public Library, and we'll be adding this film to our collection.
And I would just like to say, without all these kids coming together and like how generic this was, like everything fell together amazing. Mr. Dulett allowing his class to help collab with us on this was amazing. Everything went smoothly, and I just really want to say to everyone, thank you. These kids have been amazing.
And we're really excited you're here. If you can't sense that with the committee, we're really excited. Yeah. So before you go on, do we know, can we get this on screen?
Where is it?
It's linked to the agenda.
It's on the agenda? Yeah,
Yep.
I can do it. Just give me a second. Sorry, I didn't have this ready.
For some reason, I can't get it. Right there underneath ROC, yep.
Dun, dun.
Oh, dun, dun, dun. Okay, that's what I was getting as well.
Okay, let me try.
Can you log into Zoom?
I was avoiding it. Responsibility? Let me do it.
Bear with us a sec. Can you guys tell me, what does ROC stand for?
So ROC stands for Room of Color. So basically, it's students of color, whether it be Latino, Chinese, Asian, Black, white, African, kind of any ethnicity. You can kind of join there, and it's kind of like a safe space for people identifying as male to kind of go. We have different conversations over various topics. We do projects like these, and we kind of just get together and create maybe like a family for some members in our student community that don't kind of feel like they have a family. So like, for example, the other week we had a 2K tournament after school, and we had the middle schoolers come up. We all played. The middle schoolers actually whipped our butts, which is terrible. Like, it was kind of so bad. Like, the middle schoolers were kind of like, this is their thing now. Like, we're on our way out. But once again, it was just like so many like great memories made, and it's kind of just a great like safe space for men of color attending Swampscott. So couldn't have been done without Mr. Bailey. There really was nothing here. Like Miss O, if I remember correctly, right? Miss O was just like, yeah, we need a group. Like, this is because this is not his job. His job, technically, by title, is like the tutor. So like technically, after like 5 p.m., he could just go home. So like he didn't really have to do this, but he kind of noticed that that gap needed to be filled for our students. So he stepped up. I really commend him because I was here before and after the creation of this group. So I know the impact that it made on our student corps.
Thank you, Al. Also, like he said, the idea was initiated by Miss O. When I was at Salem State, I was part of a group called the Brotherhood, which kind of was my safe space there at Salem State. My mentor, his name was Damian Lane. He kind of saw me during orientation week, brought me in, and like, honestly, it was one of the best things I ever did. Like, we had different things from barbershop talks to things like where like barbers would come in, you get free haircuts, and something like I spoken to Miss O about maybe possibly doing here with the boys, the 2K tournaments and just different things, and definitely love the fact that we were able to have the middle schoolers come up last week, because just like having that connection and having the younger kids have people to look up to, and especially like good role models. Like, these two are very young, but they have very, very bright futures ahead of them. And this kid right here, being able to lead them has been amazing.
It's great.
That's awesome.
It's really cool.
Thanks.
We ready to go? I've got my volume off, so. Yep. So I turned my volume off. Mhm.
I know.
Oh, I've
I have
never
an
done that.
appointment to have mine fixed.
I never did that. Okay, and do I need to put, oh, it is rewound.
Yeah, it's only, what,
What do I say, yep?
3 years since we've been doing Zoom.
Oh,
We're just laughing at ourselves that it's only been 3 years since we've been doing this.
all right,
And now that we're finally having a school committee meeting without a mask.
this is true. It's not
Oh.
coming.
Still no sound.
What, on the bottom, you have the,
We'll get it.
Oh, I gave permission
To me?
to whoever clicked on it. It sent something to me, and I gave permission.
Oh, let
should
me
be
try it
able to
again.
open it from
Okay,
where you-
now I don't have to do the joint audio here because I've done these two things.
Do that. Join with your
I didn't, yeah, I
And
didn't.
then you have to
There's a little exclamation point on the bottom for the,
Is it what?
do you see on the microphone?
Oh, there's
There's
an
a little,
exclamation on the
It's all Ivy's fault.
microphone down there.
we can't see it.
it.
See where it says audio?
Yeah. I just don't want that. Don't want that.
Two at Swampscott High School.
Oh, yeah.
It's his magic touch.
Hello, my name is Timmy Bailey. For the past 3 years, I have been the Boys of Color coordinator as well as the MECO academic advisor for the past 2 at Swampscott High School. With me today, I have Tyler Sanders.
Hey guys, I'm Tyler. I'm a freshman. I'm 15 years old.
Samuel Obala.
I'm Sam. I'm a freshman and I'm also 15 years old.
Alison Bangura.
Hey guys, I'm Al. I'm a senior and I'm 18 years old.
And Eddie Gomez.
Hi, I'm Eddie. I'm a junior and I'm 17.
Who are all members of the ROC Male Affinity Group Boys of Color, which was started in my first year at Swampscott. A fun fact that you guys might not have known is that we are the only high school in Massachusetts with a senior center connected to it. Over the month of February, also known as Black History Month, we spoke to 4 senior citizens at the center who were lucky enough to live through an important part of our history where one man took the initiative to lead the charge to help change the world, not just for him and his family, but for all people of color. These individuals have been lucky enough to not only be alive for the first civil rights movement, but also experience the reignition of the fight after the murder of George Floyd. We have taken the time to interview 4 individuals all representing different demographics. 1 black male, a black female, a white male, and a white female. We did this to ensure different perspectives were represented and to also get as many viewpoints as possible. Thank you, and I hope you enjoy it.
That is the tease.
All right, and that is all for the intro. The full clip is about 19 minutes.
It's around 20 minutes.
Yeah, around 19 to 20 minutes. And like I said, we will be showing that to the whole school on the 28th during the assembly. The assembly will be around 10:40 if any of you do want to stop in. It will also be yeah, you're right. It will also be archived in the library as well. One thing I do want to say, the 4th boy that was with us, Eddie Gomez, he did end up moving back to Springfield, so he's not at Swampscott anymore, but he was an amazing part of this. He came here in the beginning of December. That's when he started at Swampscott, and he adapted so well. He joined in, and he worked with and made a huge impact. Very, very big impact for a kid that was only at the school for 2 months.
Wow.
Yeah.
It's too bad. Does anybody have any
So
questions?
that was your trailer, that was your teaser.
Yeah, like your teaser.
It's so great, now we have to come see it. I'm really curious.
I just put the 28th into my calendar.
Yeah.
Any idea what time that assembly is?
10:40?
Oh, the assembly's at 10:44 is the start time. I'm 10:44 to 11:26, I
Yeah.
think.
In the auditorium, so like we could call.
Mhm.
Yeah.
And are your interviewees going to be like panelists? Is there going to be a discussion afterwards and stuff?
Yes.
Yes.
So we have a 42-minute time block for that. The video is about 20 minutes, so we'll have an extra 20 minutes
That's
after
awesome.
for people to. Oh, it is a 42-minute time block, and the video is 20 minutes, so we'll have an extra 20 minutes after for a quick Q&A between the seniors and all the students.
Okay.
Who started this? Whose idea was this?
The lovely Sabrina Compton.
Well, I would have to say also Mr. Edwards. So Ralph kind of posed the question to the senior center. It was in February, it was Black History Month. And, in a town with, less than, or 3% of the population of Swampscott is African American, how do we celebrate Black History Month? And his idea of Black history being our history and was, I don't want to say a challenge, but it was a great thing to kind of bring up to Heidi and myself. And it kind of led to this project, which is so authentic and just grew so organically that, and it involved so many parts of town and Yeah, sorry, I'm using my hands a lot, but
No.
yeah. We
was
had
agreeing.
so much fun, and I think it should be said that the administration school senior center gave the kids and us so much creative space to do this, and all of this was voluntary. You know, and just for you know, Victoria and Ralph and Edie and Sid Baker, who are the members of the senior center who participated. They gave so much of their time. They were so vulnerable. They shared their stories. They were really honest. And these kids worked so much outside of regular school, developing the questions, being in the film room.
So much.
So much.
So much.
Yeah, and then Mr. Dulett giving us the space during the school day to come and have creative meetings. It's really just been one of the most rewarding things I've done professionally and personally, so.
That's wonderful. That's really exciting to hear, I think, especially, you know, obviously when you build a high school with the senior center attached, these are the kinds of things that you hope will happen. So it's nice to see that kind of thing come to fruition. And I can't remember anything like this coming before us.
I don't remember anything like this either. And when you can learn from people that have gone through things in the past, I mean, like, what can be more meaningful than that?
I think the Tech Ninjas are the only other group that's come, and that, you know, that was more of a collaboration,
Right.
and the young kids teaching the senior center. Hopefully that's still going on as well. But it's exciting to see, so got that.
Thank you. Can we hear from the interviewees? Yeah, a little bit.
I'm sorry, what?
How did you
enjoy the project, Ralph?
I would say that for us real seniors, I mean, you'll only be a senior, it was amazing to work with the young people. I mean, to see the preparation that they made to conduct the interview, to see the way that they work together as a team, both on the technical end and then on the other side of the camera end. And we haven't seen the video yet. What we do know is that each of us was interviewed for about 20 minutes, and then the video that you're going to see is about 20 minutes. So it's going to be interesting to see what was in and what was out. And I can't think of anything better, in a sense, at Swampscott High School, where you have students who are learning history, civics, government, English, production, and all teamwork, and all of these things coming together. And again, when we seniors talked later, it was just for admiration for the young people and the skill and interest and how poignant their questions were, how insightful they were. And I'm being selfish because looking at all the resources that they had, you know, where was this when I was in school? And then I remember that, you know, that was ages ago. So, but I can't do enough compliments to the library, to the senior center, to the faculty that put this on. Just one really great project.
Victoria, anything?
I was very pleased to help. I'm a retired teacher, so I always help work. Oh my goodness, I can't even talk. I always like working with students. So when Sabrina came to me, I always say she accosted me, but I'm always
I can be very persuasive.
yeah.
Oh, yes.
So I was very happy to say yes, and they were very professional, and they were just really great, and it really made me do a lot of thinking back, way back when I was younger, when they asked me those questions, and just thinking a lot about life and, the way things are now. So it kind of opened my eyes a lot too, but they really a great group of kids, and they really did a great job. And I'm excited to see the final project, so.
I'm really excited too.
I know, me too.
I look forward to the 20
Yeah, that was a real tease.
I know, I kind of have chills, yeah.
One thing I do want to touch upon what Ralph did said. did say, so we do plan on having multiple versions of the video. So we do plan on having a full clip of everyone's interview. So you can see everyone's separate interview along with the full edited clip of the whole documentary.
Excellent.
It's fantastic.
I'm sorry, because I feel like we're kind of coming to the end of this. So, like, I just want to, like, go on my little, like, kind of blurb, because I feel like everyone knew it was coming. So it's just, like, I feel like it was just so incredibly, like, underrated of, like, I was talking to Tell Me about it, the efficiency and kind of the professionalism. Like, everything was just kind of crazy because if you really think about it, the production crew, Mr. Doulette's crew, you had Ive, you had Zach that was working during their classes. Sometimes they was working during their study. I remember Ive would tell me period A, he had that study, so he was just going to work on it through. So, like, they gave their maximum effort, and it came to fruition through the final draft. You have kind of just the matchups, too, like, which is so crazy because you have, like, Victoria and Sam. It was two just eloquent speakers. Like, if you watch their, like, own interview, like, it was crazy. Like, I know she was just jabbling just now, but I don't know. We're going to forget about it. We're going to forget about it.
You carried.
Otherwise, like, no, literally, I'm telling all the characteristics. Like, it was crazy how the characteristics matched together.
The students and the seniors.
Eddie and Edie and Tyler, they was talking. It was like they was talking. They was having their own conversations. You're gonna see me and Ralph. We was basically wearing the same clothes. That's how similar we were. Like, and literally, I'm so serious. Like, so it was just so like impressive. Like, you had Eddie Gomez. Like, it was when he was talking to Sid. Like, you could picture like all the stuff Sid was talking about. You could just see it. Like, and it was just so incredibly great. Like, Miss Clockton here, she was taking, Miss Clockton every time 12 p.m. meeting, 12 p.m. meeting, 12 p.m. meeting. So it was just so like honestly, like, it was just such like a great project to even be a part of because like everything just went well, everything just went right. We was originally trying to get like, we was trying to get it by the end of the Black History Month, February. We realized, okay, that was gonna be a little tough for all three of us, the counterparts being the senior citizens, production crew, and the students. Obviously, we realized like, oh, maybe that's gonna be tough. Some projects maybe would get derailed, would fade off, fade out, push back, and then, but no, we stayed head on. Everybody, we had a meeting, we regrouped. This was like 2 weeks ago, right? Regrouped. We realized deadlines that we had to meet, deadlines that we could make, deadlines that we couldn't make, and we all just worked together as a team. So like, I just like am acknowledging like the perfectness of how this went because like coming into adulthood, like I understand like not anything's just lickety split, especially when it's a group project. So I just commend everyone that came together. Mr. Doulette, you think you're slick? Mr. Doulette, you was putting in work for us. You was really helping us out. So I really thank everybody that played a part in this because I know come the 28th, you guys are gonna know about the work we put in. So thank you.
I'm thrilled with the enthusiasm and the collaboration of everybody. I mean, I can't stop smiling hearing about how excited you are and how great this was. And I'm already thinking, like, can you get another project in before the end of the year? I cannot stop smiling. This makes me so incredibly happy. And I know what great kids we have. And now the work will be spreading and others will know the great kids we have. So I just want to say thank you for coming.
Go, Zach.
Go, Zach.
Zach, come on.
Well,
Wait, Zach's going to go.
He want to say something.
Okay, so I'm just going to speak for a very short amount of time. I just wanted to say that I know all of these people put in so much time and so much effort, and I personally have learned so much from this, and it's been one of my favorite projects that I've ever worked on, and I've just loved every minute. I mean, I personally came after school to work on it just because I thought this is a really important project, and I think it's really important to get this message out. And I, of course, didn't want to let down anyone here because they're all great people, and I just love working with them.
The fact that he was willing, like he was in here at like 5 o'clock, 6 o'clock, he's a 16, 17-year-old kid, could be doing anything else in the world, and like I just really commend him, commend Ivy for that.
Exciting.
Any final words? Is it Matt? Do you have any final words?
Oh, yeah.
Sure. So in addition to this, I guess the item also came to interview us at the Senior Center and Temmie and the kids So that's, another kind of like great outcome that, this is definitely a project that's captivating interest and, because it's honestly, it feels good. I mean, it's a great project. Yeah.
It's wonderful.
exciting.
Wonderful.
Yeah.
I'm so glad we have Love of Learning back.
I
We get to
know.
see this stuff.
Oh, and we have some great ones coming up in addition to this one, so we have some great things happening in this district. I'd like to feel like the masks are off for now. We're rolling back to more typical days and highlighting our biggest asset in the kids.
Awesome.
So, thank you.
Well, especially since you are here, Al, and Temmie, and Tyler as well. I'm not sure. I think, I just wanted to make sure that you guys know that on April 13th, we are having a meeting at the METCO headquarters. And I know that your, I believe that the project that you worked on for METCO is also going to be featured as part of that as we tour through the offices. So I have a feeling we have a marketing and communications professional coming up.
In our midst.
So I think she's talking about
The research project that METCO worked on for the headquarters, that Al, I know, was a part of through his summer internship.
You and Divine did that? Yeah.
So when the school committee watched that probably about 2 months ago, that inspired us to book a meeting at the headquarters. So you were the impetus for that. We were there, I think, a year or two ago. But
We were there the week before COVID started.
Yep, we were.
Yeah, wow.
That was our last meeting.
So now that they're in their new headquarters, we're excited to take part of that and bring the work that we've been doing along with us.
Thank you. Like I've said, I've obviously done my homework on you guys, making sure you guys are actually following through and everything. So it's great to hear from my director that Swampscott is one of the most kind of involved districts that METCO has. So I also want to commend all 5 of you guys. Missing a couple today,
Yeah, we're
no?
missing one.
Yeah, I commend you guys because I definitely know you guys are working behind the scenes. So I thank you guys a lot for that because every day Millie's calling me. She's like, "Oh, what are you doing over there? Like these guys want to get involved." So I appreciate your effort because it really does make change, and it's not underlooked. So thank you very much.
Thank you.
Appreciate that.
Happy to be a part of it.
Yeah.
All right.
Well, good. Now can we just close it for the night?
I know. I want to end on this high. It's just,
I'll entertain a motion.
yeah.
Okay. Well, we don't have a lot going on tonight, so. I'm going to move into committee announcements. I just want to say, it's going to be hard for me to say this. Ooh. I just want to recognize James Galanti, and it just hits a little bit too close to home. Having a kid who is the same age, being in the same town, seeing you young kids. So just, make sure that you call and get rides home.
Take care of each other.
Think about what you're doing before you do it. It's just, in the blink of an eye, everything can change. So that's all I've got.
You're all precious.
You're all precious. You okay?
All right, somebody else can go, please.
It's a terrible thing, and condolences to the family and all the friends, and just awful, And I know our family. We were stunned, and we're also very reflective, just like you are, Amy. So again, condolences to the family on this one.
You have a good comment?
No.
I don't have any comments.
We have Maggie and Madison here as well.
Thank you. Sorry, Maggie. Sorry, Madison. We can't see you because I'm looking at the agenda on our screen. So I will turn it over to you, Madison.
Hello, can everyone hear me?
Yes.
Okay, sorry, I apologize. I'm having some technical difficulties, so I think it's better just to keep my camera off so you can hear me. I also express my deepest condolences for the family of James Galante. It was a terrible loss, and I know everyone is very upset and taking it very seriously, and the SHS community as well. And sort of just to add on to that, I know that the spring sports season has started, so I just wanted to say that as Maggie and I were both captains of the tennis team, so we're starting the season off strong. We're very excited to be part of it, and we're hoping for a great last season of sports, which is kind of sad to say, but thank you.
At least tennis is a lifelong sport. Like, at least you get to keep playing.
Maggie, you're up.
Hi everyone, can everyone hear me okay? Yeah? Okay. So first of all, I would like to acknowledge the tragic death of James Galante. I know at least the Swampscott High School students have been taking this very, very seriously. We all wore red and black on Monday to just show our support for the Marblehead community and those who knew James Galante really well. I know that there were a lot of students at Swampscott High School who knew him very, very well. And it's such a tragic story to begin with. And again, our deepest condolences to his friends and family and his girlfriend, everyone. On another note, I would also like to just thank everyone who just made the presentation that we just saw. I personally will be at that meeting on Monday. I'm so excited to see the whole thing. It was such an incredible idea to do. And you all are such intelligent, beautiful, smart people. So I'm sure that whatever you made, it's going to be absolutely incredible, and I can't wait to see it. And thank you so much for bringing issues like that to light. Like, it's so important that we have students, especially in this dominant white community, to talk about these things, talk about the past, talk about how the past is affecting the future, all that stuff. So you guys are the best. Keep doing what you're doing. I love it. Thank you so much for doing that. And then just lastly, I wanted to do a quick update on how students at Swampscott High School are handling the relaxation of the mask mandate. Huge success. I would say everyone loves it. It's really surprising. I didn't really think it was going to make a huge difference, like in terms of communication and how well teachers were able to communicate with their students between students, and then vice versa, students with teachers. Huge difference. You wouldn't think that something as simple as a mask would make that much of a difference in terms of relationships, but oh my goodness. It's wonderful to see everyone's facial expressions now. It's been a long time, and it's been quite a surprise to see everyone's faces, but I can't think of a single person who is unhappy with it. So thank you so much to everyone on the committee, especially Ms. Androlakis, who made that happen. And yeah, it's a huge relief. It's a wonderful change to have.
So good.
Superintendent, has there been any feedback, or is it something that just died away as
No feedback, happy faces at the middle school. I remember on Monday, the day we went mask optional, bumping into kids in the hallway with smiles on their face and just expressing what a happy day it was. And then, on a given day, kids are masking up, and there are still, and it doesn't seem to be an issue if you're masking up or you're maskless. It's really about your comfort level. Everybody seems supportive of everybody else. I've heard of no issues at any of the schools, truthfully, but to see the smiles on these two young men's faces was just like, I'm like, it's a great day, isn't it? They were so excited. So yeah, it's amazing, and I think some of the staff and I were talking about, it's amazing about how appreciative our students are of something so simple. After what we've been through for 2 years, it's a simple thing, but being able to choose now has just made everybody so happy. So,
yeah, it seems like that's obviously a common theme for all of COVID stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Really appreciating those little things.
Right.
I have one more thing, if
Go for it.
we can allow it. Just want to recognize the high school robotics club. They had a competition this past weekend in Reading, at Reading High School, with I think around 39 other teams competed with them.
Wow.
Not exactly sure where we placed, but I know it was Saturday and Sunday, and they have another competition coming up in Revere this Saturday and Sunday. And again, from what I understand, the team built a robot, and the task of the robot is to shoot baskets into a basketball hoop and angle around and that sort of thing. So, you know, it sounds interesting, and
It's really fun. You can watch it. There's a link. You can watch it. It's
you
really
can watch.
fun
You
to
can't,
watch.
yeah,
Yeah,
they won't let
I-
anybody go, but
My
you can
son was
watch it.
there, so I was live streaming it, and
Yeah.
I was hysterical.
Was it like Battle of
It
the
was
Sexes?
hysterical.
Yeah,
It's really fun to watch.
It was, yeah, they line up, they all were a little different, and they have bumpers on them, because like inevitably they all smash, and the balls were down, and they, like the horn went off, and then they go and they're trying to pick up the balls, and they're all go.
It's
It
a
was
very
amazing.
serious sport.
It's very serious.
Pre-pandemic, I went to the competition to see our team,
Oh my God, they're
and
howling all the time.
it was a wild scene in this enormous,
Yes.
field house.
Yeah.
It was as heated as any athletic competition you've ever
You
been
could,
to.
like, sense
Serious.
how tense, as they
It
were.
was so exciting to watch. I wish it were in
And
person.
I think the team did okay. I think the team did
Well, I
pretty
do follow them on Instagram.
Me too.
And they've got
Actually, on Twitter, I
on-
follow them.
They've got a good page, so.
Yeah.
Yeah. Funny.
Oh, that's exciting. Maybe we'll have maybe wait for the love of learning, we can get them to come in and demo that.
I'm sure we can. We have some great upcoming episodes of
Okay.
Learning.
All right.
Because that would be fun.
I'm going to go right into my superintendent's report. So one thing that isn't on this agenda, and you'll notice the one that Mr. Doulette popped up was not the updated version. So I had the therapy dog on here for this evening, but the Lauren Calabrese, who is coming in to speak to you about it, is looking for 2 documents that she wasn't able to have for this meeting. So we've delayed it by a little bit. But what we're looking for at this point is to bring the puppy in before he's fully certified. And so there's liability insurance she has to get, and there's a sign-off that we would have to sign off on. But it makes sense that part of his training is to be within the school. So she's going to come back around, but that got taken off the updated agenda. Another item that came up later this afternoon, and so I didn't have time to update the agenda and post it at Town Hall, was that it really goes under the school building committee update, but I want to talk about it here. You know, at the community forum we had, was it last week, the week before?
10th.
Was it, what day? The
10th.
10th? We had it here in the high school auditorium. There were a lot of parents there, and they asked some really, really good questions. And one of the things that came out of my portion of the presentation was my commitment to communication, how often I was going to communicate, the logistics that we were still figuring out. For example, the director of facilities and I met with the moving consultant. We actually have a moving consultant who worked in the Boston Public Schools for 27 years, who's been with Hill International for 3 months, but she was the moving guru in the Boston Public Schools. So we've already started a spreadsheet of every space at Stanley School, what are the tasks that have to occur, who are the team leaders and who are the stakeholders. In addition to that, we know that crates, not cardboard boxes, will be delivered on June 1st, immediately following MCAS, and that everything needs to be out of there by June 23rd. So as a result, there were a couple of parents at the community forum, Katie Cirilli and Mary Marshall, that came forward and said, we'd be happy to be, you can't possibly answer everybody's questions every moment of every day. So they have agreed to volunteer their time to be my parent liaisons. And in the last week, they put together a survey of parents, you know, how many children you have, the grades that they're in, what are your concerns, what are your questions. And as of this afternoon, I received an update that there were 69 families that had responded, 150 questions and concerns, and I forget the other data, but I mean, we got this going thanks to them very quickly. So the goal is they have till March 29th parents have till March 29th. My first communication is going to go out in April, so they're helping me coordinate and get those communications out. And I really do want to thank them for that, because we can't do this alone. There are so many pieces to it. There's the Blaney neighborhood, there's the traffic, there's the closing of the school, there's the packing, there's the logistics. It's just a lot, but it's all exciting. I never thought I'd be so excited about figuring out how to close a school. So, because we know a new school's on the horizon. So I just want to shout out to them for their time, their effort, their energy, their willingness to help out in this.
In the process, do teachers need extra bodies to help them?
So the other piece to this was, that was the big piece I forgot. I asked them on the survey to ask who could volunteer their time. And, and rightfully so, their question was, would this be after school hours? And I said it truthfully wouldn't. The art room isn't used every day. The music room isn't used every day. The library's going to have to be inventoried. So along with these questions, they were seeking parent volunteers that could go in and help during the day to pack up, because it's going to be all hands on deck.
I asked because I would imagine that there may be some former Stanley families.
Yes.
Can't imagine who.
Yes, I can't either.
Who would give their time as
So
well.
we'll keep track of that volunteer list, but I envision this being an exciting opportunity for the kids to, let's face it, I think June's going to be different at Stanley School this year. And also for the parents and for everybody in that community, to present and past, to contribute to this. In the meantime, coordinating, community walkthroughs. There's just a lot going on, but I really, just from that meeting, they organized, they got this done, we communicated, it's moving. So I wanted to shout that out. The next item on my agenda is we did the first read of the school calendar at the last meeting. There seemed to be no questions, and so I'm asking for a vote on the 2022-2023 school year calendar.
All right, I will entertain a motion to approve the 2022-2023 school year calendar as presented by the superintendent at the last school committee meeting.
So moved.
Do I have a second?
Second.
All right. All in favor? Aye.
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 Thank
The vote is unanimous. It is approved.
And a final note on this year's school calendar, there was a power outage at Stanley School in October, I believe, and so they would have to make up a day. So the last day of school is actually Wednesday, June 22nd for the entire district. I am gifting the day to the students and having the teachers come in so that they will be able to finalize that building on Thursday, the 23rd. So it is the 22nd for all students, and Stanley teachers will be making up the day on the 23rd. It just makes sense that they have the last moments together and in their building. So that was just an information for the school committee. Okay.
God, it's going to be such a hard day. It's going to be such a hard day.
It is.
Yeah.
It is.
Yeah.
I spent 8
Before the
years.
wrecking ball that comes in.
What?
Yeah, I said before the wrecking ball.
Yeah.
8 years.
Just watching it get emptied out and then dismantled, right? It's gonna be really hard.
8 years
Yeah.
was over in that building. For me, that seemed like a lifetime, and a lifetime ago. All right, so I am going to turn it over, to Dr. Bacon. She's getting set up.
Will you keep everybody informed what that schedule looks like? And
Huh?
will you keep everybody informed about what that schedule looks like? And
That
like,
when the schools,
yeah,
yeah, as soon as we know.
okay.
So Dr. Bacon, what can I do for you? Or is Mr. Dillette doing it?
Looks like
Dillette's
Mr.
doing
Gillette
it.
has it.
And I'm going to stop sharing.
Okay. A couple items to talk to you about tonight. One is the adoption of, I can take this off while I speak, a new AP biology text. And so the chair of our science department, Brian Casey, is here to share their thinking with you and ask for your approval.
All right, good evening, everybody.
Hi, Brian.
Hey, sorry I couldn't join you in person. The last thing I want to do is have to do something on Zoom at this point, but Murphy's Law in my car is broken down and I can't get back there. So I'm going to share my screen with a little presentation I've got. Let me get up and running. Where it goes somewhere, hang on. Yeah, again, we're not into the Zoom, there it is. All right, so let's see, share screen. It feels so good that I haven't had to do this in ages.
I know.
All right, here we go. All right, so can you guys see the presentation of the bio book?
Yes.
Awesome. All right. So this about a year, 2 years ago, about a year ago, we identified the current science book we've been using for AP biology as needing to be updated. It's the 6th edition of Campbell Biology, the AP edition. So it's the high school level text made for college level text made for high school. This is a 10-year-old book, and the College Board requires that AP textbooks be recently published within the last 10 years. So we're looking at this book being out of date at this point, and we looked into new books for this coming up. So Michelle Yanofsky, the teacher who will be teaching AP Bio and the former department chair, looked through a couple of different books and really requested that we go with the same text that she's been using, but updated to the current edition. So this is the 2020 edition, 12th edition. And as we're going through the book, it meets, I'll show you this in a little bit, meets right up with the College Board expectations, College Board guidelines. We made a point to look through it to make sure that it was culturally responsive and that there was diversity, equity, inclusion, belonging taken care of in the book. This textbook is listed as one of the textbooks that the College Board doesn't recommend books, but this is one of the books that they listed as an example book. And when we look at the purchase order for it, it includes what we call Mastering Biology, which is a student resource bundle that's online to augment the workbook or the textbook itself. And when it comes to the physical textbook, talking to the students, one of the things they wanted was a physical hard copy textbook. They did not want an electronic textbook. The students we spoke to wanted a physical textbook they could hold in their hands, read through, and copy notes from. So along with I'll show you the features of the textbook. Along with the features of the textbook, there's a Mastering Biology student resource bundle. This includes interactive virtual labs, an e-text, so if a student is away from the textbook, they can look in there. Study modules, so if a student goes in and studies and answers questions for a section, those questions it asks will adjust based on the students' responses and how the students are doing. It offers targeted feedback. So it's a really great sort of built-in digital way to get really quick, responsive, targeted feedback for the students. Looking at the textbook, on the left here are the AP Bio from the College Board. This is their main units, and the textbook covers the same units. They call them, the names are a little bit different, but it lines up exactly with what we're looking at for the AP. So it's meeting the standards for the AP Biology course. So students, when they get through this book, will be ready to take that exam, and hopefully all get 5s, right? That's the goal. It's a wonderful book when you look at it. Beautiful full color graphics, really detailed. You can see this is cell structures, cell parts. The layout's really nice. When I talk to students about it, a couple of the students I talked to, they like the diagrams that lay out the text. They like how it chunks the information. They spoke to the size of the text that was in there. It's not too big, not too small. I had one student look at it and just go, wow, it's beautiful, which I don't know if I've ever heard anyone refer to a textbook that way before. Chemistry book, I teach chemistry, and chemistry books aren't as colorful as biology books. And then another student liked to use the way analogy. So students that we had look at it, a couple of students who are in AP chemistry this year, who are likely students taking AP biology next year, looked at it and really felt that it wasn't too much of a book for them, and that it was appropriate for the level that they felt it was for them. Features of textbook, just as every textbook has, checking questions, nice, well-developed graphics, formative assessment and check-ins, as well as these are in the book that they can use. They're also online. This repeats the same version. There we go, sorry. Really, there's science skills exercises in here that use real-time data to help students build processes. So it's real data that the students can use rather than just something in the textbook. And they can actually build their science skills even while they're reading through the text. We made a point of looking at it for DEIB and culturally responsive education. Looking at the examples of scientists they're using, our variety of cultural backgrounds, so that when students look at the book, they can see someone that looks like them. It's not very homogeneous in terms of who they're seeing as examples. Also, one of the things we were worried about was current views on gender versus biological sex. And I was thinking when we get into the genetics part of this textbook, how are they handling it? And you can see this is the quote from the book that really makes the point of saying that we understand that this is evolving. This understanding of gender versus biological sex is evolving. And the text addresses that right out and really defines where they're using gender and the way they're using sex as a biological sex and chromosomal definition here. So it really is a wonderful put together book. The students liked it. The students found it was appropriate for them. It is a continuation in terms of what we've been teaching here for AP Bio. We're using the same curriculum, the same materials. It's updating for today, rather than 10 or 11 years ago. The important part, I guess, of this, the quote we received for it, we're looking at 50 texts, which will give us 2 full classes plus some, and we're usually running in the 40 to 50 student range each time the course is offered. The 50 texts plus the shipping and handling, and there's our total price, about $10,414.37. That includes some teacher curriculum materials as well, and that includes the online student enrichment with the physical hard copy textbook. There's a link there for the terms and conditions if people want to see that in more detail. But that is the book we're looking at, and that's the book we recommend. I know Michelle had looked at, I think, 2 other texts, but really felt that this was the best continuing of what we've been doing so far at the school. So there's what I've got to say. Of course.
Go for it.
Is the online access to the textbook going to be available year after year for students? Like, I know when you take a college course, like you have to buy that online subscription every year.
I don't think so. I think it's a one-time thing that comes to the book. There was no indication. Let me pull up the quote again where it shows, but it's not a one-time. I think the 50 text comes with the access to this online as part of it for perpetuity, I guess you could say. Let me find the quote.
Or until the textbook company decides that they want to discontinue it and make you buy a new one.
Yeah,
which is what happens.
I just know I bought a anatomy textbook for myself, and I had to
re-up the license.
I had to do it each semester too, like it's same textbook, but I had re-up for the new online lab stuff and study things.
Right. So let me share this. I'll show you the quote. Let's see. There we go. All right. So here's the quote from the publisher. And if you look at the line item for the text, it's 50 units. And that includes the Mastering Biology with Pearson text, Pearson e-text. And so it's not a subscription, it's a one-time fee for essentially the life of this textbook that we're using. Like Jean said, until the publisher decides they want to change the online platform.
Right.
But it's not a subscription service where it's 1 year, we have to pay anymore. So this cost we're given is for the useful life of these textbooks.
Which should be for the next 10 years.
Yes, should be.
But somehow it'll transfer to each new student that gets that book. So.
Exactly right. So it's a license. The license comes with the books. It's not that we have to buy 50 licenses every year for the kids. It's a complete comprehensive license that comes with the textbook that we're going to buy without a repurchase.
Mr. Casey, I just want to say, in my history of as a student, no teacher has ever asked me whether or not I liked a book, and I would imagine that your students really appreciated that. So thank you for trusting them and taking their opinions. I think that's great.
Yeah, it was fun that the first comment was, "Wow, that's beautiful." It's like, all right. There's some graphic designers that have a biology background that'll appreciate that comment, I'm sure.
Graphics are important in a biology book, right? That's, yeah. And 50 is enough? You're pretty certain?
50 is, I think,
students, you know what I mean?
The largest number of students we've had is, I think Michelle had said about 48 in the past couple of years. But I think, over 50 students puts us at, 3 full sections, which is something we don't really even have the space for.
You don't really see, okay.
Yeah, that should be our biggest problem.
I'm excited by the way they address, the whole gender situation. We're moving towards culturally responsive curriculums and programs, and this is ahead of the game. This sounds like a really, really good choice, and I appreciate all the work that went into it.
Yeah, including a great presentation. Thanks.
So thank you. Yeah, like I said, we've been working with Jean on the CRE committee, and as we've been developing that rubric to sort of assess curriculum through the district, it was almost like a nice little test of some of the questions and discussions we've been having in this book. So.
That's great.
So we are looking for a vote.
So I will entertain a motion. Let me just open this up so that I have the correct language. I will entertain a motion to approve the Swampscott High School AP Biology textbook as recommended by Mr. Casey, Ms. Yanofsky, and Dr. Bacon.
I'll make the motion.
Can I have a second?
Second.
All in favor? Or any
Aye.
discussion first? Any? No? Okay, all in favor? Aye?
Aye.
Thank you.
Okay, the motion passes unanimously. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Casey.
Thank you, guys. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
And next up, we have a summer program, learning loss program update from Dr. Bacon. At central office, we've spent a lot of time talking about, obviously, what the summer is going to look like. And last year, we did a substantial summer learning loss program. And it was important for us to take, at some point last year, we had hopes of making it a multi-year program. But we had to look at the data. And I, have learned from this committee how data speaks. And so Dr. Bacon took a look at the data from students that received the services and how much growth there actually was. And she wants to present that to you tonight. I'd like her to present it to you because we don't think at this point it would be beneficial to have a summer learning loss program the way we did last year. We are looking at a couple of other opportunities for students, but I think the data speaks for itself, and I will turn it over to Dr. Bacon. Do you want me to share, or do you want to share?
It's really nothing to look at. It's a report. I can just summarize it for you.
Sure.
So, it was a lot of, it was difficult putting together last year's summer learning program for a variety of reasons. It's hard to find staffing. We had to hire a lot of people. Most people came from outside the district. And I wish I had more forethought about how we're going to know whether these kids are impacted by this. But a lot of things that we could have maybe measured, we just didn't have time in terms of just getting the program off the ground. So what I did was retrospectively in the fall, I said, let's think about how we can know whether the kids who were invited, because if you remember, it was a targeted program. So we invited kids specifically who had some evidence of academic struggle during that COVID year when there was remote learning, then hybrid learning, then a little bit of in-person learning at the end. So we targeted students, we invited them, we encouraged their families to send them. In the report, you can see what proportion of the kids who were invited actually attended. And so that sort of gave us a little bit of a control group, right? So we had kids who we knew were needy. Some of them chose to attend, some of them didn't. Let's look at their academic outcomes and how they fared in this fall when they came back to school. So we did that for the elementary program, the middle school program, and the high school program because there's different data available at different grade levels. Sometimes it was standardized test data in our iReady or Ames web scores. Sometimes it was course passing rates or grades in the fall. And I think there was one other thing I looked at. I think it was just DF rates. Anyway, so I looked at all this data. One of the sort of good things was that you would expect the kids who attended the program to do a little better than the kids who didn't attend the program. And that was generally true, but the differences were very small. And when I sort of ran statistical tests to see if they were statistically significant, they generally were not statistically significant. From my perspective, the thing that was good is that they were all in the direction expected. Right? So sometimes when there's really no effect, you'll see like the data jump around. Sometimes the kid who got, the group who got the treatment will be better. Sometimes they'll be worse in different measures. But this was consistent across the board. The students who participated did better in whatever metric I looked at than the kids who didn't. But the difference was not large enough to say we had a huge impact or a really big impact on their growth. So I consulted with my colleagues at central office, and we decided that given that outcome, that we didn't want to run things quite the same way as we ran them last year. So right now, I'm kind of working on a proposal to run a much more home-based program and provide support for kids to work at home with their families on specific skills that they need to practice. So that's part of also our shift in our attention to family engagement. We're trying very much this year to think about ways to engage our families in supporting the education of our students, because we know we can't do it alone. We have them for 6 hours a day, and they spend much more time with their families than they do with us, and we really have to be a team. So we're really looking at a kind of a different model to see how that works for some of our students this year, who are, again, students who are continuing to struggle academically.
And I only bring it to the committee in case somebody said to you, where's the summer learning loss program? And I didn't want anybody to be blindsided in the grocery store that you had no idea what we were doing or why we weren't doing it. So it's not like it's going away, but the cost, the logistics, the fact that this building couldn't be cleaned because the entire building was being used, and more importantly, the amount of growth and impact we had just makes sense to go in a little bit of a different direction. But as I said, there still are a couple of ideas being tossed around, but the whole purpose of presenting this to you was to just let you know what was going on and why.
I have a question. Yeah. So first, I guess, thank you for the statistics. You know, I know I'm not the only one that appreciates them here, but thank you. The question is, have we done anything like this previously? I'm just wondering, you know, do we have any idea of, you know, how successful home-based learning is? Do we get good outcomes generally, or is this kind of a test case?
It's kind of a test case. I mean, again, I've only been here I'm finishing my 3rd year, but certainly in the time I've been here, we haven't done any real significant trying to partner with folks, with, you know, families at home trying to support their students, other than during the pandemic, right? Because a lot of our kids were learning at home, and we have some things that we developed during that we want to see if we can leverage some of that with a little bit more support and outreach from staff members we would hire to have students continue their learning in more targeted and specific ways. Because again, last year's program, and this was, you know, part of our philosophy and part of the, you know, the funding streams that we were able to get to support the program, it was largely a project-based program. So I don't doubt that it had benefits for the students who were there. The students were happy, they were engaged, the families seemed very happy. They did some really great work and terrific projects that came out of it. They did, you know, and the literacy and numeracy skills were supposed to be interwoven with the project-based work. And, you know, the staff really did a lot of work and really tried to do that. But if we're really interested in, you know, a 2nd grader improving their reading skills and learning to read and learning the difference between glued sounds and blends, I'm not sure that that's the approach that we need to take in order to do that. So it would have been lovely to have been able to measure some other impacts around social emotional development or readiness for school or being happy at school, but I didn't have the foresight to try to set that up before we were in the program and in the midst of it. So I had to work with the data that we do have. And again, the point of the whole thing was to try to close some of those learning gaps that we had talked about last year that we were noticing as COVID wore on, right? So,
outside of the summer program, where are we with those learning gaps? What kinds of progress have we made?
So I haven't looked at it globally yet. That'll be interesting to look at in June. There have been some surprising things. I would have expected kids to come in, because we started our system of standardized assessments the year before, you know, the fall before COVID started, right? So we had been tracking some sort of standardized stuff, particularly the elementary level during that year. So we kind of knew where kids started, for example, in the fall of 2019. And when I looked at sort of then I looked at the growth over the 2019-2020 school year when COVID started in March, and it was still really good. We had really good growth in the elementary level over that year. And then when I looked at the fall data for this year and compared it to the fall before, we came in not as strong as we did in the fall of 2019. maybe as an effect of that 3 months of COVID at the end, but I don't know. It was interesting. So there's some interesting patterns that I still need to look at. But some of the things we are doing this year, and I've been working on with Mrs. Raymond, our whole system of how we identify struggling learners and support struggling learners with additional services. We've really tried to tighten that up over the last couple years. And I just did an analysis of our students in math and reading interventions at the elementary level and looked at, are they on track to make what's called stretch growth goals? So we know what a typical growth is for a year for a student, so we would expect all students to make their typical growth. But for students who have learning loss, we want them to grow more than is typical, right? Because we want to close that gap over time. So we've been looking at the proportion of students like at mid-year who had made 50% of the progress toward their stretch growth goal. So we're seeing some really good results there, particularly for our math intervention programs. So again, it's something we're tracking, we're looking at. We're really trying to always be looking at the effectiveness of what we're doing to help students close some of those gaps. So we're doing a lot during the school year. We have new support programs at the high school. We have a different model at the middle school this year, which we're hoping will also contribute to closing some of those learning gaps.
I was just going to say, I know you haven't completely built it yet, but in this program that's going to be home-based, are we going to have staff maybe going to the home occasionally or visiting, or are they going to occasionally come in? What is the contact with the school going to look like?
We're still very much in the development stages of thinking about what that's going to look like.
Like I was thinking the same thing.
Right.
It's just a lot. It sounds in some ways harder than having them all together, because if you have them all together, all your material and your teachers, everything's in one place, and you're
and common expectations.
Yeah, kind of, and everyone's, you're kind of assured that they're there and engaged rather than home. I mean, hopefully they're home and engaged.
Well, we'll see.
Yeah, no,
Stay tuned.
Yeah.
Thank you, Dr. Bacon.
Welcome.
Yeah.
Thank you. Yeah, I worry about the kids who have a lot more free time during the summer, whose parents might not be home because of work, or and I worry. I'm sure, and I know you do too. So it's not like I'm worried out of the box. So thank you.
I will say that I think the rec department is probably happy that we're not running our program.
Probably.
It was incredibly declined last summer because we took away some of their population. So in terms of concern, I think there will be some filled gaps there with the rec departments and the programs that they're going to run this summer.
Right. And those social programs are just going to be so important.
Yeah.
Okay.
Chair update.
I have a meeting on Friday with the head of the select board and the head of the finance committee, sort of a reset. So I'll report back when I know more. But I'm really going to just use it as a time to listen. That's all I've got. So I'll turn it over to my subcommittee.
So school building committee has a meeting on April 5th. We're going to be doing it in person. That was the last decision. We had a successful community forum on the 10th, and then we met with the Conservation Commission on the 17th, and then the planning board this past Monday, and just on track to get permitting done. And we have another Conservation Commission meeting next week, and hopefully we've answered questions and taken care of a lot of stuff. So that's moving right along. So exciting. Like it's just like, it really does feel like it's going to happen. Like, I just kept crossing my fingers and hoping. I mean, there's still tons of hurdles, but it feels like you can like breathe a little bit right now. So that's good.
I added ESP bargaining because I know Glenn wanted to update, but John, do you want to update?
I can update.
Sure.
So we have a list of issues we're working through, and I think since the last update, we've ticked a few more off the list. You know, we obviously still have some larger ones to work through. But again, the tone has been cooperative throughout this, so, you know, I think we have meetings next week, so, you know, hopefully that will, you know, we can take a few more off the list and, you know, report back on those too.
Good. Glad to hear.
Wow.
And then back to you for the international students policy.
Yeah, so we had March 10th, and then March 24th, and then April 4th meeting or something last year. We had that family come before us and ask about, you know, having exchange student, and we discussed it, and there was some issues, like, you know, being concerned about if the student ends up needing some special services, or staying in the country, or staying at school, or just how it's managed, because, I mean, we haven't done this before, so there's a lot of questions, but so the Rotary approached us this year to see if they could help that happen, and the Rotary's been doing it at Marblehead High School for years, and there's a procedure, and it seems like what we didn't do last time is take a vote. Like, we agreed, I mean, the school committee agreed that we wanted to do this, and then it was going to be, the final say was going to, you know, the final okay to have the kids in would be superintendent and principal discretion. And, I mean, I think it's time to just vote it in. And we wrote the policy and we read it 1,000 times.
Yeah. It was my mistake. I was looking through the paper trail from last year and saw that we had approved it, and that there were some issues that Mr. Kohut had on his end, I believe, with whatever company this particular student was coming through. And just because of the chaos of COVID, just asked that this not be made a priority that year, which made absolute sense. So, you know, I think, especially now that we have somebody from Rotary who's coming, and, you know, it's so closely linked with Marblehead, and, you know, who Rotary sponsors students year after year. It seems like a missed opportunity.
Yeah, and we can, I mean, it sounds like there's one student they're entertaining right now, so that's, you know, easy to start with one than, you know, 7, so. And it's on a space, you know, we have the space and everything, so, I mean, we've read the policy.
Yeah, we read the policy last year?
Like, a lot. Yeah. Because we made a lot of changes, and I think Darren read it too, and then, yeah.
Okay, so, so we don't need to go through a formal read of it?
I mean, I don't think we do. We have, like, according to the minutes from last year that I copied, we had first read, vote requested, second read, vote requested, like, you know, it's sort of like we already did first and second read, and we didn't change it. Like, we didn't even change a period.
So the only person that we would have to bring up to speed would be Glenn, who's not here to vote.
Well, and also, has John seen it?
Well, John is part of it.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
That's right, I forgot.
He was here. Well, Glenn was here too.
Was he?
John was here, Glenn was here.
No.
No.
He came out.
No, he was a year
John
earlier.
was a year
Sorry, I
more
don't
than-
point at you.
Oh my God.
I know, I had.
Track. I'm so sick of.
Is there a downside to just waiting till he comes back, or?
Well, I do think that time is a factor, but that doesn't mean that Rotary can't, that the work can't be done on the administrative side and with Rotary, and that we just, we have a formal read this time and then vote it formally next time, if that's what you're recommending.
Yes.
Okay.
I mean, is that
Would
okay?
you agree with that?
Yeah,
Will they do that?
I
Will
don't
they-
think it's a,
that
I
they
mean,
can proceed?
I mean, I do think that it's worth everybody taking a look at again,
okay, so,
since it has been a year. And so let's look at this as a first read now. Do you,
I just have to read it on my computer.
I was gonna say,
I
like, it's
can't,
not linked here.
I cannot read it up there anyway.
It's not linked here anyway.
No, but she hasn't.
No,
I know,
yes, it is.
It's not linked to
I
the
mean, on the
agenda.
agenda, it's not.
Oh,
You
yeah,
have
it's not,
it,
oh, yeah.
Yeah, I think that makes sense, just,
That's in the drive.
Yeah, as long as it's not gonna actually affect a particular student, like deadline or something,
Well, I
or
mean,
will it?
yes, I mean, if they do all that stuff and we end up voting no, it will affect them, but you don't. Sorry, you guys.
no.
I wish I was more prepared.
I mean, we can,
Nope, I'm gonna find it. I had it up and then I just,
We've looked at it a couple of times today.
you know how it is. Maureen, she was so good about sending me all the information well in advance of her vacation. That's the problem. It's like,
I might have it, hold on.
oh, here it is.
You have it?
Okay. JFABB, International Students. The Swampscott Public Schools recognizes the value of including international students at Swampscott High School. Approved categories of international students student participants include tuition-free students sponsored by officially recognized exchange program, or cultural exchange students participating in an SHS-sponsored program. International non-resident students sponsored by an officially recognized exchange program will be admitted to Swampscott High School on a space-available basis. All international students are subject to the expectations and responsibilities detailed in the Code of Conduct and Student Handbook and the policies of the Swampscott Public Schools. The school department shall develop appropriate procedures that govern the admission and tenure of foreign exchange students necessary for the implementation of this policy. Tuition-free exchange students. International exchange students will be admitted to Swampscott High School on a tuition-free, space-available basis, must be fluent in the English language, and be sponsored by a program that is approved by both the U.S. Department of State and the district. All exchange programs must be in compliance with the Council on Standards for International Education Travel. There's a website attached here. The student must have a host family in Swampscott who will provide lodging and support. In addition, the host family assumes responsibility for all matter of care and well-being related to the exchange student. A notarized statement is required from the adult with whom the student is to live, certifying that they are bona fide residents of Swampscott and that they willingly accept full responsibility for the care, conduct, and direction of the young person being given into their charge. Verification of local residence and pertinent records, including health, must be received and acknowledged as in good order by the principal before admission will be permitted. No student will be admitted to the school unless he or she, I'd like to change that to they, unless they have successfully immunized against communicable diseases as specified by the Department of Health and state regulations. The student is expected to pay all normal expenses, including standard course and extracurricular activity fees, even if they are not required to pay tuition. Waivers are not allowed. So that was for a foreign exchange student. The next category is cultural exchange students. Students from other countries may participate in short-term cultural exchange programs in conjunction with programs sponsored by Swampscott High School and approved by the superintendent. Such students will not be enrolled in the district, will not earn academic credit through the district, and will not be entitled to enroll in the district after completion of the visit. Administrative guidelines for cultural exchange students will be maintained in conjunction with those 4 field trips. Administrative guidelines for cultural exchange students will be maintained in conjunction with those field trips, with those trips probably. That's it. And then we start to think about regulations or protocol, but that's all.
That's at the administration level.
that would be
Yeah.
the operations, right?
And I actually sort of thought, it's already being done from Rotary and Marblehead, so I'm sure there's some procedures there that they've been successfully using that whatever. But, so I like this to be the first read. I'd like to change the he, she pronoun thing in here to they. And I'm gonna just take out that last word that I had written twice.
Mhm.
But,
So the vote would be the next meeting?
Yes.
Mhm.
yeah, I mean, I'll email Mr. Dubin, the president of the Rotary, and
Yeah, I'm just trying to understand, I don't know why, because I'm looking through my, my letters, and I see 2 letters that I wrote that said that we have approved it. That we had approved.
well, I think we did. We talked about it, and you know, even given the reservations, we were sort of like, it's time, we're gonna do this, and we did keep saying that, and so I think we thought we approved it, but we never actually took a vote.
We actually never voted.
We talked about it, you know, and we said, we're gonna approve this, you know, given that Darren reads it and it's fine, or whatever was said.
So maybe what happened was we said we would, sort of like what we're doing now, is we said we'd approve it, and then found that we didn't need to since
Yeah, I think what happened because Mr. Kohut was like,
I
you
can't
know,
do this.
right? And then it just fell off the radar.
Okay.
But, yeah, I think so we'll take care of
It's
that.
a great way to
next.
start. One student.
Yeah, one student and with a
Sponsored by Rotary.
program, yeah,
Mhm.
with a proven, you know, and record next door.
I think it's gonna be so exciting. It's like so great to have new people come in to
Yeah.
share experiences.
Okay, so we will take a vote on that next week.
Yep.
And then I have the consent agenda, which is designed to expedite the handling of miscellaneous business in the district. School committee can adopt the entire consent agenda with one motion. At the request of any school committee member, any items can be removed from the consent agenda and placed on regular agenda for discussion. Tonight, we have 2 things. We have the regular session minutes from March 9th, 2022, and we have the warrant number 22-23. I will entertain a motion to approve.
I see 22-38. You said 22-23?
I did. My dyslexia, sorry. Okay, warrant number 22-38.
Thank you.
Sorry, thank
That's
you for
okay.
catching that.
I literally can't even see it.
Clearly, I can't
I'll
either.
move for that one too.
Okay, so Suzanne, I have a motion to approve. Do I have a second?
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Routine. Aye.
Aye.
The motion passes unanimously. And then I will hold public comment. And I'll give it a minute to see if anybody raises their hand. I don't have anybody here. Well, I don't see anybody raising their hands, so with that, I am going to, at 8:26, entertain a motion to adjourn.
I'll make that motion too.
Can I have a second?
A second. I was chewing.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. It is 8:27. The meeting is adjourned. Thank you, everybody.
Good night, everyone.